Hello, people. We are back. A2TP podcast, episode 193, and we back in the building. It's your boy, International Walt.
It's your girl, Tasha, co-hostess with the mostest.
The beautiful curly top co-hostess with the mostest, Natasha. I'm going to use her government today.
Natasha.
Natasha.
Okay, Natasha.
But she is the co-hostess with the mostest, and we are back for another episode of us. Instagrammers, YouTubers, TikTokers, Facebookers, Apple Podcasters, Spotifyers, iHeartRadio us, Amazon Music us, Podcast Index us, Podchaser us, Google Podcast us, Player FM us, and type us up. We come in, like, subscribe, share, comment, leave a remark or something like that. Engage a little bit. We be talking about some good stuff. Let's get right to it.
Yeah. How are you? You go first. I always go first. How are you?
I'm good. Mentally, I feel like a 10. My head is clear. Things seem to be going well. I got some goals I'm looking at forward because I'm getting ready for the last quarter. Well, we in the last quarter, but want to finish the last quarter strong. Don't want to start the new year off.
We're not in there yet, but
well, you're close. Mm-hmm. But don't want to start the new year off feeling like you're behind the 8 ball.
Absolutely.
Every day is obviously a blessing, but for the life we live in, you got to somewhat prepare.
Yeah, definitely.
So that's where I'm at with that. Finances, I feel like is an 8. Always got to leave room for growth. Work is a 10. Work has been real funny lately. It's been real busy, and the days have been going like that. So that's a good thing. I look up and it's 10 o'clock, and it's like, wow, like that's dope. I'm getting out of here soon. So that's fun. Physically, I feel great. I feel like a 9. Leave a little room for growth there. My body feel good. I'm kicking it up a notch, trying to work a little bit harder. Today I ran for a minute and a half, and I found a trick. Mm-hmm. When it's time to run, you lower the incline to normal, and you can run longer. Mm-hmm. I wasn't doing that. I was running on the incline.
So it's like you run up a hill. Yeah, that's harder.
Today I thought about it because it's the new treadmill, and I was like, wow, let me lower this thing and see how much longer I can run. Mm-hmm. And so I kicked ass today. So yeah, that's how I feel. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Mentally I'm a 9. Just I'm good. But I'm a 9 because of work, but we'll get there. Financially a 10, think positive. I read something, somebody said, everything I want wants me. I guess cool. It's like tying into that manifestation we talked about. So, everything I want wants me. I want us to be, maintain financial stability to allow us to be a blessing to others. And I'm going to continue to have that thought. And do the things that we need to do to get to that place. Work is a 9. Work is good. And I usually always say work is a 10, but work is very busy. It's a lot of things going on.
A lot of moving parts.
A lot of moving parts, not a lot of people.
That's where stress comes in.
Yeah, that's where stress comes in, mm-hmm. And I don't want it to negatively impact. No, I won't allow it to negatively impact my household. That's not even a question. I always send my husband like a schedule of like where's Natasha, so he knows all my whereabouts. And October is going to be pretty busy, God willing. We still see October. I want to count the chickens before they hatch. That's how you say that. But yeah, so work is just a 9 because it's a lot, not just physically on me, but also the logistics of other people too. So it's a 9. All good, not complaining, but I'm tired. And physically, I'm a 9 because I'm tired. I feel great. I have been getting my 3 miles in. The devil has been trying to find ways to distract me, deter me, discourage me, but I won't allow it. And I am extremely proud of myself. I've been having some busy days, but I've still been making it happen. I know it's only one day this week, because of my schedule, I won't be able to go. So I'm thinking I'm gonna make up for it on Sunday. Hopefully you can join me.
I don't work out on Saturday and Sunday.
Okay, that's fine.
I'm on my regimen of, I gotta let my body rest.
That's absolutely fine, but I don't want to rest for 3 days. So I know towards the end of the week, I have to be somewhere that is an hour and a half away from our home at 9 o'clock in the morning. So there's no way for me to go to the track because I don't want to go there at when it's dark out. Like, that ain't happening. So, who knows? Or maybe I might do some, for a half hour weightlifted or something in the house just to get something
Maybe it'll
done.
get canceled.
That would be great. I don't think it will because the weather looks great, but that would be great.
Maybe it'll get canceled. Speak that into the air.
Yeah.
Like, it's okay for a meeting here and there to get canceled.
Well, this is an event, so I don't think but
clouds move around. Like, God did a little, give her a little. That's all we know. Not even that, because just a hurricane from you, but just a little something.
Just like,
yeah, make a butterfly flap its wings somewhere.
Yeah, but other than that, like, I'm good. So yeah, what's your wows and woes for this week?
Wows and woes is that work has just been going really good. Me and the fellas have just been, getting back to the old and just laughing and working and getting shit done and just a lot of laughter. So I'm super happy about that because work can be frustrating. I'm doing 3 jobs now at one time, and I can't be at 3 places at one time. So I need good help. I have good help, and it's just been great. So yeah, that's what I'm happy about is that I don't have to bring stress home in my head because like you said, I would never like bring it into the house, but just the worrying about work at from the time you come home to the time you go back there, I don't like that.
Yeah, so, absolutely not. Yes,
yeah, like just thinking about it, like eating dinner or watching TV or scrolling on my phone. It's like you thinking about work and shit and what you want to do tomorrow. I don't like that shit.
Yeah,
at all. So yeah, work's been good, and I'm super happy about that. No woes. No woes at all.
That's awesome.
No woes.
That's awesome. I'll say for me.
How about you?
Okay. I'll just say I got a chance to spend some time with my sister this week. And that was good. Seeing her in her environment. She's an amazing hairstylist. Y'all see my healthy, bouncy curls. You know what I didn't realize? This is just naivete on my part. Like, I know, but seeing it firsthand, the power of social media. Like, I was just with her one day, and she had 2 brand new clients that, girls that she doesn't know that found her on Instagram. And it's weird because it's like back in or even not just back in my day, even now, like my generation, I guess, you kind of go to a hairstylist based on word of mouth, like somebody telling
this is their word of mouth though. And this is their standard. Like when you think about this is how they look for stuff.
Yes,
so
like
anybody
they see,
wants if you want something as a hairstylist down to a birthday cake, you go to Instagram and just look, and that's why it's so important to have an updated page. Like there was this lady that she had posted something about her daughter doing hair, and I went to look, just being curious. Like, I don't need anybody else to do my hair. And she didn't have any pictures since 2021. And it's like somebody looking at that would think she's not in business anymore. Like, now you got some people who their books are booked down and have to worry about they good. But this wasn't the case for this girl. And it's like, you should really encourage her to update her page. Somebody would think she don't do hair anymore. But it was just a pop. And then when I said it to my sister, she was like, what? She was like, I get at least 1 new client almost every day that like she has her regulars that come regularly. She was like, but somebody that found me on Instagram. Did you just snort?
Oh, no, it was my hands on the table.
I was about to say
that found me on Instagram, and I was just like, wow, like seeing that in real time. Like these girls one girl came with her mom, and we ended up I always have great conversations there, but we ended up having a great conversation, and her daughter might become part of my mentoring group, Black Girls Love, if she's interested.
You do that. So when you want to look for something, you go to Instagram and look to see if that place that you it's almost like a directory now, because if you hear about a place word of mouth, oh, they got a new food place down there, you almost go to look and see if they have social media to see the pictures of their food, the place, the location, the people. That's how you gauge things. It's no more, even though you can go to Google and find an address, Instagram will feed you more of a
more robust,
a picture
because you
of
see
what
pictures,
the place is,
yeah.
what the food look like, what the ambiance looks like. You can, what the restaurant looks like that kind of stuff.
But I mean, hair is like one of those more personal things, you know what I mean? So, and again, it's just from my experience.
And the comments, you look at the stylist, they look at her, they look at all her pictures, they see the fly hairdos, then they look at the comments. And it's like, okay,
the
that's
quality
what they
of
based
hair. Like when I think about through my life, I can remember the hairstylist that I've went to, and it was because of either, like, I knew somebody that went there, and it was like, oh, this person is blah, 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 blah.
Same thing with a barber. It's like you have a barber shop, and then you see somebody with a fly haircut, and you think, damn, who cut your hair? And you kind of get word of mouth, and you go there. But back then, now you didn't have a phone in your hand to say, oh, his name what? It's Tata? Let me go. He got an Instagram, and oh, shit. Like, he do appointments through this. Like, no, it's not that no more. Like, before it was, I had to go to the barber shop, get you had to be a walk-in first.
Right.
Then after you get your cut, it's like, yo, can I get on your appointments?
Yeah.
And that was even 50-50. He might have said, nah, my appointment's 100% booked. Like, you can keep being a walk-in, or I got spots open.
Yeah, but you're absolutely right. It was one of those things, like, seeing it firsthand. And to her, it was like, okay, this is nothing. Like, no, but it was just like, wow, like, I was there, and 3 people she did, 2 of them were, like, again, brand new. Like, I don't want to say off the street, but like, like, she didn't know them from a can of paint. They found her on Instagram, booked an appointment. It was like, wow, that's pretty cool. That's pretty dope.
You book your appointment, give you a deposit, you getting your hair done.
Yeah. So it was cool just to it reminded me of we watched an interview with Issa Rae. What was the show she was on?
7 p.m. in Brooklyn.
So I heard her, talk about, they were talking about AI, and what she said really hit home, where, like, she didn't want to be one of those people who, like, our parents' generation had, like, a fear of the internet. Or, I always talk about our grandparents who didn't want to use the ATM. It's like this machine.
There was a time
like
they didn't want to use banks at all.
Well, I'm thinking about when they wanted to go in the bank and talk to a person.
Right.
Like, they wanted to fill out a deposit slip. They didn't want to go to an ATM machine and do anything with a card. And I feel like with the whole AI thing, I'm not there yet, but I kind of feel like at some point I'm going to have to come along. But the perspective that she gave was great, where it gives us an opportunity. It kind of almost replaces an encyclopedia in a way, but more in a tangible sense.
Search engines do that now. I think AI is going to be the most dangerous piece of technology that is given to humans. That's what it's going to be. It's going to be just like the internet, a plethora of good things that you can do with it, but it's going to be a shitload of bad things you can do with it. The deep fakes, the making people, tricking people, the making people that didn't say this, the making people that say that wasn't them there, and they're there. Like, it's a lot you can do with that. But
you know what I think the difference is, though? It's also going to be a separation of, I don't want to say the have and the have-not, because that's not the term. Those who are ignorant and those who are knowledgeable. Because not, like, do you know how, like, you don't know how to do anything with AI and making it.
That's why they put it on all our phones now. That's why it's part of the Google, the search engine.
But I mean,
because they want you to get used to it. No, to answer your question, no, I'm not familiar with it.
And there's a lot of us.
That's the reason why all of a sudden we woke up and it's like, hey, this is a part of the phone now.
But I mean, like, you wouldn't know how to create a video of somebody talking and it looking and sounding like me, and it's not. And I think it's going to take a while for that. Just like it took a while for, like, fax. I remember in 7th grade having a fax machine, and it was like, this was brand new, and everybody had to go home, and it was like, if you know somebody with a fax machine, come back tomorrow with their number and we'll practice. My grandparents owned a business, so we practiced sending them a fax, and it was like we had, generations had to learn how to do that. So I'm thinking about our youngest nieces and nephews, not even our oldest nieces and nephews. The youngest ones are going to be the ones like, Mace, Kinsey, Riley, Dakota and Denham, like those young, really young ones are going to be the ones that learn that process. And I don't even know if Kenzie might be too late in school because
because it's AI, it's advanced technology.
Yeah.
She might be. It's almost like a kid starting boxing at 15.
Yeah, I mean,
like
she's 8,
late.
but it's like they might have to like start that and especially because they're still, I don't want to say they're still figuring it out. I think they know a lot about it. They're just small dosing us because they don't want to overwhelm us and scare us.
Yeah, you have to.
But I think they know more than they have allowed us to know that they know.
Yeah, you have to. I mean, it's like I said, it's the most dangerous piece of technology that's going to be given to humans, and I just hope that, well, some people are just going to use it badly. I know that. Yeah. I'm not going to sit here and say I hope that they don't. I know that they will.
Yeah.
The elephant in the room. Diddy was arrested. Locked up on 3 charges. One was racketeering, which he faces life for. One was sexual trafficking, which he faces 15 years for, and one was possession of guns and all that kind of stuff, and he faces 10 years for.
Question: what exactly is racketeering?
Racketeering is like you make a racket of something. Like an example of racketeering is, it kind of goes hand in hand with extortion. Like you go to businesses and shit like that. And like, I'm just giving an example. You go to the mob goes to businesses in the neighborhood and say, hey, you moving in our neighborhood, blah, 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 you got to pay a tax. You don't, they get somebody to fuck the store up and keep fucking the store up and keep fucking the store up. Once you get a group of that going on, that's also extortion, but it's a racket.
Okay.
That's racketeering.
So the racketeering could be him controlling people's careers?
The careers, the women that he's flying in for sex trafficking, all that kind of shit. Like you're the orchestrator.
You're assuming that it was all women, but
all women, and allegedly. So he's gotten locked up. He was denied bail. He offered a $50 million bail package, which included his Miami home. He included to be only to fly from Miami to New York to see the doctor and his lawyers and his mom, and they denied it and said no go, you stay in jail until your trial, which trial date hasn't been set yet. He's still in the early stages, but trial could be a year or two, and you got to stay in MDC federal jail in Brooklyn until then, which I hear is a bad prison. He's trying to do everything that a man would do in this situation to get out of jail. Like he's saying, I'll give you more money and I won't see women. Like it's almost like that's what he offered. His lawyer said he offered now if you let him out, he won't have any contact with women. So it's like, I'm trying anything in the world to get out of jail. And I personally think with those charges and you facing life, I think he might take a deal, because to take this to trial, all the videos, all the stuff that they have comes out. I mean, the guy was arrested, had 1,000 bottles of baby oil and lube at the house. Like there was some stuff going on. And the first raid, when they got all them tapes and all that stuff, and they also said that how they put this case together was through the security, through the maids, through the people around him, which he might not even know that some of the people around me or have been around me have already told. And I'll see this in court, in testimony. These people will be called, but I might not know that some people around me now, some security, some bodyguards or some maids or a lot of people told, and it says it in that report that this is how they put the case together. By the closest people around them came forth and testified.
But I wonder if it's a situation that they had to, like they were subpoenaed.
Obviously, yeah, they put a little pressure on them. I mean, you never know. You might have some shit in your background, and they just be like, they put some pressure on you and make you testify or say something. And I mean, he's in a world of shit. I don't think you slither out of this one. And the fact that they denied you bail and you was going, after the raid, they say he paid off his mortgage in Miami for $18 million, and he was going to give the government $48 million of the $50 million bail package. And they still said no.
And I also read that his children all surrendered their passports as a means of saying, like, we're not going to try to.
It was a letter all signed by his kids, his mom, his grown kids, his sons, his daughters. And I didn't even know that his daughters are taking guardianship with Lala. Like, all his kids flew from LA out to New York when this happened, but the girl stayed back and said that we stand with Lala, like we've been staying with her, so we don't want to come out there and have to deal with that. And it said in the story that she's taking guardianship of them because she was Kim Porter's best friend.
Wow, that's weird because
and they said she had been for a while, like a few months.
I'm not surprised to hear that. I was wondering why like Kimora wasn't more, because I know like they were really close as well. But it's great that they do have somebody. You know, their mom is going, their dad is in a world of trouble. It's great that they do have somebody that, you know, appears to have a stable. You don't hear no drama about Lala. You know, she take care of her son, and that, you know, she do a couple movie shows here and there, but you know, it's good that they have some sense of stability, despite all the chaos, in spite of, or in the midst of all the chaos that's ongoing. And they have to finish school too. So that's,
but I mean, something like this happens to your dad.
They might be doing online school.
And it's kind of understandable if you do go. Because it's like, you know, you want to be supportive, and that kind of helps him in court and all that shit with character witnesses and all that. But just your thoughts, like, what do you think is his fate, and does he spend life in jail? Does he get a hefty jail sentence? And just your thoughts on, you know, this kind of behavior, like I'm trafficking and I'm flying women in from Russia and Poland and all this kind of shit, and I'm having these this is crazy how mainstream. I'm 47 years old. I've never heard mainstream news say freak off. Well, that's insane that they're using that language to say, like, white people on the news are like, you know, Puff Daddy Sean Combs was locked up because he's having freak offs, and it's like just that.
But that came
jargon.
From the docket.
It is. But I'm just saying them using. I'm going to pick this phrase and use that on the nightly news is crazy.
So, I mean, when people say, oh my God, 1,000 bottles of lubes, I mean, you think about him having...
He fumbled that. He was like, 1,000 lubes.
1,000 bottles of lube. Like, that's not necessarily surprising if he's having parties in the capacity that they're talking about. I mean... I'm not surprised. Maybe, you know, he might have...
He's having orgies, like full-blown sex porno parties where 1,000 bottles of... you can go to a Wegmans right now and they probably won't have 1,000 bottles of baby oil. They may have 200. They may have 300, but Wegmans ain't got 1,000 bottles of lube on deck like that, babe.
You talking about somebody who is known for having these parties, not once or twice, regularly. So he might call Johnson and Johnson directly.
It's just crazy, though. It's just crazy.
That part wasn't necessarily surprising to me. I think the fact that it's been a little quiet and then the ball drops. And we know, like,
Hold on. Not to cut you off. 1,000 bottles of lube in his place, that didn't surprise you?
No, because it's like, okay, do you think he's gonna buy lube every time he has a party? So he probably had a stash. I mean, because he didn't think he was going to get... the fact that maybe he didn't get rid of them might seem a little weird, but he probably had a stash. If this is ongoing parties continually, he probably never wants to run out. And it's not like, okay, this is a man who's married and he has this for himself. He's known to have these parties with hundreds of people, and he probably don't want to have to worry about ordering every time he have a party. So having a large supply of that was just like, okay, for some, I mean, you think about like the Bunny Ranch, right? The brothel that was in Vegas. No, the Bunny.
Okay, that's part of the Playboy house. I mean, that's part of Playboy.
No, the Bunny Ranch, that might not have been what it was called. It was that show about the brothel that was in Vegas. Okay. Like, it was a legal brothel. People came there to have sex.
That's different.
You think you go in their basement because of the activity that's ongoing?
I hear you.
I'm just saying, they probably had it's like a restaurant. You going in there and finding 1,000 pounds of rice.
That's okay, but I would be shocked if they had 1,000 steaks. I would be thinking, y'all jumping it off in here. Like, y'all getting it in. Like, who stocks that much steak? So I get what you're saying. If you're having, it's levels to it. If you're having parties on that level and doing what they're saying at these parties, that's what it entails.
And you think Diddy has been in our
lexicon
for the last 30 years.
Yeah, the judge is not letting him out of jail because the woman said that he can tamper with witnesses and he shows that he has influence. And also the lawsuits that came out after Cassie, there's a girl, I can't think of her name now, but she had a lawsuit probably 3-4 months after Cassie. He contacted her 54 times. And like, that's not good. That shows like you're trying to coerce her, you're trying to bribe her, you're trying to intimidate her.
Intimidation, that's definitely
bad. That's bad, like real bad. That's a reason for them not to let you out of jail.
I think Diddy will go to jail.
And it ain't about the money for the government, obviously. If the feds come, they got enough evidence, I think. And also, just for the judge to be like, we don't want your $50 million, your $48 million. It's not about that. It's about what we think you can do if we let you out.
Yeah, I think Diddy is going to jail. I don't think they would be pursuing this to this extent if he was not.
You think it's a plea?
I think he probably, I think his ego is going to force him to go to trial.
So right off the bat, you think he's going to think, I can beat this?
Well, he's going to
presume
he's going to presume his innocence, and yeah, he's going to, because now and I'm not at all like thinking that he's innocent in this. The court does say innocent until proven guilty. When they talk about sex trafficking, like I think about like when we think about like children, right, being sex trafficked, like they're being taken from one place to another for the means of having illicit sexual activity.
Right.
Are they saying that's what was happening to these women, or was he flying women in from Russia, Ukraine, wherever, and they knew what they were coming for?
No, he's flying in, like you see on The Wire or these shows we watch where they got a tanker of women from Russia or Poland that don't have no control of what they're doing. They're pimped out, that kind of thing. So it's not children. It's grown people.
No. I knew it wasn't children, but what I'm saying, are these grown people coming of their own volition, knowing what they're coming to? I think, but it's just the fact that he was flying them in, and that's the crime.
I think it's a cesspool of everything. So I think some of these girls are like controlled by whoever is bringing them over, where they can't go to the bathroom without a man, they can't get food without a man watching them. So I think it's a little bit of that. I think it's also people who voluntarily participate in these parties and want to come. And then I also think that maybe these girls he's flying in, a tinge of them, you might not be checking that they're under 18. They may be 17. That's where it comes in, where the feds come and say, ho, there could be some child sex trafficking here because...
Well, no, that's not on his jacket. It wasn't... I was just using it as an example of when we normally hear of sex trafficking. So they didn't say child, but I was just thinking, like, are these women being taken from one place and being brought to him for the means of engaging in sexual activities against their will? Or is he flying these women in for sexual activities and that's a crime?
I think a little bit of both, because I think there's a demo or a group of women that will participate in these activities, and then who knows how often he wants them to participate. You need more women. Yeah. And if you got the cash, you can fly in a dozen women who aren't going to question. They're going to be in and out for a couple days and back on a plane, and no one's the wiser. Like, that's just what I think. That's just my opinion. So that's where I think it comes in with the trafficking. Everybody that participate in these events, I don't think voluntarily does it. Although, like you said, there are some people who are waiting for the phone call of, oh, we having a party again? Like, I want to indulge. And there's some people who probably don't speak a lick of fucking English, and they're just there to be a part of what's going on in the room.
Look, they said
this dude got caught when he got locked up in New York the other day. He had ecstasy and shit in the hotel room with him. Like, what's going on with you, bro?
They sent Bill Cosby to jail. I don't see any reason why they wouldn't send Diddy to jail. I definitely think that he's going to jail. I don't think that he's gonna plead. I think he's too egotistical, and he's not going to want to plead. Like I don't think he's going to plead out.
When the prosecution shows his defense attorneys what they have, and they go back and say, hey, this is what they got, you think he might think about his kids, his family, his mom? Like, there might be some stuff in there I don't need y'all to see, that I might have to check my ego for. Like, whatever it is.
There's already, the documents are already released about
But that's
it.
like this will be on CNN. This will be on BBC, like running like OJ.
But what I'm saying is anybody can download it and read it now. My thing is this. If you plead, you're going to jail. If you go to court and you're found guilty, you're going to jail. I think he's going to take that sliver of hope of maybe if I go to court, I can beat this.
Wow.
That's what I think.
Wow.
Because you say if he think about his kids. Yeah, if he pleads.
If they come back and say, look, we got 10 years. You plead now, you can be out in 10 years. It would seem like, okay, I'm not just saying anybody should take 10 years. Don't get it twisted. But when you know what you're facing and they're telling your lawyers are saying, hey, this might not be a bad idea to go away for 10 years. Or if we lose this or a chance that something happens in trial, you can go away for life or 30 years.
I just don't think, I don't think that the Puffy that we've seen is going
And I halfway agree with you. Like, I think his ego might be like,
yeah, I don't think the Puffy that we've seen for the last 30 years is going to take that on the chin and just, be like, all right, y'all got me. I'm going to take it. Because even if it's that, conversation of I'm in, like to his family, like I'm innocent, but I'm going to take this. Like he's not going to be able to rationalize the appearance of him being guilty. You think about even when he apologized to, or when he put up that video apologizing to Cassie, which he really wasn't apologizing to her. He was like apologizing for his act. He never really took accountability. Mm-hmm. It was just kind of like, oh, I was in a dark. It was almost like a plea for more sympathy.
I was on drugs.
Yeah.
Putting it on something else.
Yeah. It really wasn't like, I did this, I was wrong. It's on, like, I know I was wrong. Even his lawyer
to say those words of it's on me. You didn't say that.
His lawyer released a statement about that saying that, she was looking in his phone and seeing that he was messing with another girl. She hit him with a phone, grabbed his clothes, and ran out of the hotel room. That's why he ran out in a towel. And that's why he beat her down like that. Like, so even if that was all true up until that point, and you saw them in
why did he run out in the towel? We asked why did he beat her?
And you seen them in in a conversation. It could be a heated conversation, like, but to slam her to the ground, to kick her, because even if she hit you with the phone.
I don't see what the explanation of why he ran out in the towel is relevant.
Exactly.
Like, we want to know, why did he beat her like that? Not why is he half naked.
But this is what I mean. Like, the conversation he's probably having with his lawyer, and the lawyer is presenting this. This is why I don't think that this man he doesn't feel like he did anything wrong. Now, let me ask this, because I kind of seen some whispers of this, and I didn't really get the correlation. But the same day he was arrested, like some top people from record companies all resigned. Do you think there's some Kevin Lyles? There was another one, Julie Hartman, and there was another guy. And people were like, is it that did the record companies let them go?
They let them go.
Let them give the presentation of a resignation?
I mean, you can tie it all in, but podcasts were talking about this months ago.
Why all on the same day?
I don't know. That the record companies they might be starting a business together. Who knows? But the record companies were bad, and that the returns wasn't as good last year, and that a lot of people. This what it was. The people in the industry don't have contracts no more, so they can't substantiate big offices and $1.3 million salaries for the acts that we're getting. So that's why these high level people like Julie, like she's a name that's been around since Def Jam, and all these guys like Kevin Lyles are stepping down because they before they get fired, it's like I might as well quit. I see the writing on the wall. But I can see how people will tie it all in together because it's happening simultaneously. It happened
on the same day, and then it was all of them at the same time. And it was like, is it something that's going to come out about them?
I'm sure there's a lot of people, and that's the thing with this trial thing. Everything, the feds will show everything, and once they do a discovery, and like it's almost like you saying, like, and I get what you're saying, his ego will think I'm not guilty and I can beat this. But once the government shows that you're guilty, and the discovery and your lawyer says, hey man, like you're gonna go to jail. Like you keep thinking it's one thing. You think it's one way, and it's the other way. They pull a Marlowe on him. But because they have to do a discovery, and he has to see, like, okay, my back is against the wall. They do know some shit. Regardless of what I think, your lawyer will say, bro, this will get you convicted.
I think the guns he may plead to. I don't think
AR-15s with serial number scratched off.
I don't think he's going to any of the sexual related things. I don't think he's going to plead to any of that. I don't think he's going to. The guns are tangible, right? Like you can touch them, feel them, see them, so you know that they're there. Now, I don't know if he might, pull a Christopher Williams and a Nino Brown in the courtroom and like that was that man's gun, but
what if the videotapes show you this is illegal? You can't do this. Whatever the tape show, the thousands of hours of tape of sex parties, like what if the tape
But
show,
see, that's the thing. A sex party is not illegal
but
as long as the participants are willing. Like, again, if there's nobody being raped or being forced to be there, now I think that's where the line is of being able to determine that the people who are there were forced to be there and participate in activities against their will. But just having a sex party is not a crime.
Let's say you're having a sex party, which is not a crime, and this is a stretch. This is not on his jacket. I'm just giving her an example. Let's say you're having a sex party, they see you engaging in sex acts, and you put a gun to a woman's head just because of your ego. That's a behavior that's illegal, although your party isn't. So that's what I'm saying. What if it's stuff on there that he knows he did that can get me in trouble?
Yeah, now again, in his mind, he could twist it like she liked that. Like, she liked to have that dangerous kind of sex. Like, a woman liking to be choked or, a man liking to be, punched in the face while he come. Like, I'm not... people have...
You almost made me spit my fucking water out. I'm about to say, who the fuck do that?
People have proclivities.
Like, it'll go back up in you if you get punched in the face. Like, I could not imagine.
I'm just saying, people into some weird kinky... And I'm not saying it's right. Like, as an adult, don't pull a gun on me in any situation at all. We ain't gonna play with one. Don't pull it out seriously. Damn sure not in no sexual activities. But I could just see his twisted mind trying to. He comes, and I don't want to say he is because I don't know that man. He comes across. He appears to be a master manipulator. Like he can sweet talk you. He can soft talk you. Like he seems like the type of man that, depending on who the woman is, he can, if you are insecure, he can talk you up and build you up and have you feeling so good about yourself. Or in reverse, he can make, if you are very confident and he feels like he want to knock you down some notches, he seems like he can do that too. That and again, I don't know this man. That's just what he gives me, like that.
When you're charismatic, you can go towards people. When you have charisma, people come towards you. And that's what he is.
Yeah. So, I mean, this will definitely, and again, they've been like piecemealing the information because they'll drop a bomb, then we don't hear nothing for months.
Well, now he's in the process because he got arrested. So the next day is arraignment. So you're going to get some news from that. Then you got to have a preliminary hearing in 10 days. So you're going to get some news from that. So and these bail hearings, like he keeps appealing and asking, and his second act, he got denied, and his second act was, I won't have no contact with women. Like this, when you know you're desperate, where it's like, only my mom and his daughters.
But it's almost, to me, that comes across in my mind like, are you about to try to go towards like a sexual addiction rationale behind this? Because again, I won't have no contact with women. Are you trying to then imply that like that's a problem for you? And now, it's almost like an alcoholic who, gets locked up. It's like, I won't go near the bar if you let me stay out. Like, now is he about to try to push that narrative?
Could be. I don't know. But I think it all changes with what's on the tapes. Because if things are detrimental or if there's behavior on the tapes, I wholeheartedly, and again, I'm taking 10 years, 15 years is hard, but man, if they like, if the feds is like, if we lose this case, you can get 65 years. No bullshit. They're going to hang you because of who you are and what you did. and the fact that you made them spend money to go to trial. Now, if you take this 10 years, maybe, or 15 years, maybe you come home in 11. Like, who knows? But to gamble your life at 50, 52 years old, and the gamble like 65 years or some shit like that, nah, I wouldn't do it. And I know it's super hard to say, okay, I'll take the 15 years, I'll take the 10 years.
It's one of them situations where you hear people talk about how the powers that be try to bring down powerful black men when they get too big. And we think about the Bill Cosby. We think about, I mean, not that R. Kelly was too big, but we think about what happened with Kanye. We think about Diddy. Like, I seen a post this week that said this time last year he was celebrating the release of his last album, which I love.
Which was called Love.
Yeah, and now here we are a year later, and it makes you wonder if there's any validity to that. Who's next? And I think the only way to avoid that is if you know you don't have nothing on your jacket that you can worry about them bringing you down for. Like, I think about Jay, right? You think about another black man in power with a certain level of power. Like, we know it's one of them things where it's like, you can't pull my card because I am who I am. I've laid my cards on the table, so we know he sold drugs, you know, all that kind of thing. And you would hope there's nothing else in his jacket that they can, you know,
it would be out.
Pull out. Yeah. Well, you can't necessarily say that because, like, with Diddy, like, there have been whisperings
since he came in for 30 years, babe. They said this, and I've seen podcasts where people have said, I've heard whispers for 30 years about Puff Daddy shit.
But
like
what I'm saying is, we've heard whisperings of the sex parties, which is not illegal,
right.
But did people, like, yes, people knew, but the general public, we didn't know how bad it was. Who knew he was whooping Cassie ass like that?
No, nobody ever knew.
So that's
any
what
of that
I'm
stuff.
saying. Like, that's what I'm saying. It's like, when we say it would have came out by now, you would have thought that we would have known about the general public. Now, again, people did know who were in the circle, but the general public didn't. But I think where I was going was, I think anybody being like, you just gotta live a life where nobody can pull your jacket to make sure that whole narrative of them trying to take down a powerful black man or a powerful black woman, they can't if it ain't nothing to take you down with.
Do you think it doesn't happen? Like, as if something is in Jay's jacket, do you think it doesn't happen because they're polar opposites? Because Jay stays quiet, only pokes his head up when he's doing something important that he thinks is important for him and his brand. Other than that, him and Beyonce lived the life of the old movie stars where it's quiet, like we don't be seen,
they
and
pop
when
out
we do be seen, it's a big
business,
deal. Yeah. But other than that, why y'all need to see us? We live in life over here. But for Puffy, I got to be on Instagram every day. I got to be on that Breakfast Club. I got to be in interviews. I'm promoting my album. I'm promoting love all over the world. I'm dressing up for Halloween. I'm doing like all this shit I'm doing, and it's the polar opposite of Jay.
That could be.
So it's like you're putting yourself, so you're
pedestal.
constantly saying, hey, it's me, it's me, it's me, it's the billionaire, it's the billionaire, it's the billionaire, where we might not hear shit from Jay for 5 years.
But a hater, and I'm not saying that what's happening to Puffy is a result of haters, but I'm saying if we want to go, if people want to push that narrative of somebody, you know, the powers that be knocking a black man down, their rationale may not necessarily be, oh, he's so boisterous. It could just be, we don't want him at the top no more.
Right.
So, I mean, again, it just makes you think like, you gotta live a life that's where can't nobody pull your jacket, then you don't gotta worry about it.
If he's responsible for any of the DV shit, obviously you need to go to jail for that. Like, that shit is wrong. And again, the behavior that's on the tapes. If you're doing shit with ego and just outlandish shit, hitting girls and slapping dudes, like that shit is your party. Like she said, is not illegal. The things you do at the party, the things that's in the party can be illegal.
The participants, if they are not willing, that's illegal. Yeah, flying somebody in, or you contacting the dude that coordinate the chicks, and he show up with a black truck full of girls, and they thinking they coming to a party, and you telling them you got to do a line, you got to take a shot. And they like, I ain't show up for that, but you forcing them.
But what about the girls that's coming from other countries that know that they're flying to be sexed? Like, is that illegal? That's illegal, right?
Well,
Those
because that's
girls,
international.
you're not making those girls do coke and lines. That's a part of their lifestyle because of the job that they have
I
and
don't
the
think
men
that's
around them.
now. If there's no financial compensation involved, I don't think that's. Think about on a smaller scale the chicks that want to get flued out.
Okay.
Is that
Say
illegal
more
for
words.
a man, who he in LA and this chick in Alabama and they meet online and she thick like grits and and he like, I'm trying to see what's up and she like, buy me a ticket, I'll come see you, and he buy her ticket, he flying her from Alabama to LA to hook up. Is that illegal? I mean, so what? I mean, what's the difference in that?
No, I'm the difference
Because she
is,
knows she's getting flued out to give up some yams.
But that's a girl. Let's just, you have these this container of girls who
No, I'm saying you said the girls that know that they're coming for sexual activities.
I think that they're fine. I don't think that they make a
okay.
ruffle. I'm talking about the girls that are in containers that coming from other countries, and I'm just putting some sauce on it, saying they're in containers. But the girls that's coming from other countries who are doing this in other countries, and because you need a group of girls for a party Saturday or all weekend, we can fly these girls in who are gonna barely eat, they're gonna fuck, they're gonna suck, they're gonna do drugs, all that shit. We'll have them back in a crate and back in Poland by Monday. That's illegal, right?
Hell yeah. Especially if it's
even if they're all over 18 and grown and know, like, okay, they're flying us over there to fuck these men.
Well, again,
that's not like I'm voluntarily doing this. Like, what do you want me to jump off the plane, run? They're gonna shoot me. It's a man with me every time I go pee. Like, how am I going to do this?
Yeah. That's, what's crazy though? We've heard rumblings about men in like Dubai doing the same thing to chicks. But I mean,
in Dubai they do the dookie thing for $50,000.
But that's women willingly. I'm talking about chicks being invited there, and I'm the Instagram models and this
being
that
made
and the other,
to do stuff.
and and
I've seen that
made,
too on TikTok. Where they was a little upset, and some of them was
like
even
they didn't let me. They took my
passport.
passport.
Yeah, they was hurt.
And I had to stay for. And it's like you agreed to come out there to get this $50K or whatever you was getting to. Do something strange for a little change, but you ain't realize
that you was in
it wasn't just with Prince Saeed, it was with him and
17 other princes. And just to get your passport back, you had to fuck 20 guys. That is crazy that you put yourself in a situation like I'm in Dubai by myself. These men have my passport and they're not going to give it back until I fuck all of them.
That's crazy.
Like, that's insane. And they're probably going to throw 20 grand at me just so I, get the fuck out of here.
Wow.
That is insane.
Yeah.
Hey, again, if he's guilty of the illegal stuff, you got to go to jail for that. Yeah, we'll see how this plays out because I'm sure it's going to play out similar to an OJ, a Johnny Depp. Like, this stuff's going to be on TV.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
47 days until the election. Last week was the debate. We let that rest for a week. Since then, there's been another assassination attempt on Trump.
Nobody shot anything, right? Oh, yeah, they shot. Okay,
yeah,
there was gunshots.
They found an AK-47 in the bushes. They locked a guy up. All this shit. So that's going on. The debate, they said Kamala won. Some news sources say Trump won. We actually saw about 35 minutes of it. And it looked like he was losing. It looked like he wasn't answering no questions. And not that she was answering a lot of questions either. She was just talking to. And come to find out, and this is, I don't want Trump to be the president, but I'm torn between the way that I think, my opinion, that they're making this lady a puppet. The whole black woman thing, the whole first black woman as a president, and she cheated on a debate where, the internet will find stuff. And apparently she had on these which you're not supposed to do, but she had on these earrings that are earpieces.
And she said that was a lie.
Of course she will say that's a lie, but if you look up that website of the Nova earrings, it's identical to the ones that she had on, and that's what they're for. It's to, like, I spy shit. Like, I got earrings on, but they're earpieces that people can talk to me, and this is why a lot of people think she won the debate. So I'm just saying, you're not supposed to do stuff like that. Obviously, she's up there and somebody is telling her what to say.
Allegedly, because I didn't think they look exactly like the earrings.
Allegedly, but just the fact that if this was Trump had some type of earpiece in, people would destroy him for this. So I'm just saying the same has to go across the board. Like, you're not supposed to do this in debates.
But again,
neither one of them was answering questions. Neither one of them was. You ask them a direct question, they talk about some shit that they just want you to hear. So
yeah. I don't think she had on earpieces. I didn't think that it looked exactly alike. I think people are pushing that narrative. And if she did, they didn't do a good job of telling her what to say, because watching it for me was very frustrating on both ends. We know he is who he is, and the rhetoric that he's going to spew, everything led back to the immigrants. And it's even moving away from the debate for 1 second, even when I read a statement that he released about this another assassination attempt, he talked about how, you know, Kamala and Joe have let these people in the country. And it's like, who said this person was an immigrant? Like, they didn't even release a picture of him. The first guy was a white boy, so he wasn't. So how are you attributing this to these criminals that are being
you can't say just because he was white he wasn't an immigrant.
Well, that guy was from Pennsylvania. He wasn't this guy. I haven't seen a picture of him. I'm just saying that first guy, he clearly was not an immigrant.
I didn't see him. I'm just saying, motherfucker could have been from Norway or some shit. He could have been an immigrant. Like,
no, the first boy.
You're white, you know, mean you're not an immigrant.
But that's not the immigrants that he's talking about.
Okay.
He's talking about the people coming across the border.
The Spanish people.
Exactly, the Hispanic people.
Yeah.
So again, it's like, how are you attributing this to the border crisis when the first guy was a white guy from Western Pennsylvania, and this person, I didn't see a picture of him yet, but I would bet that it probably is the same. So how do you keep going back to there? And with her, she did a smidge better with answering the questions, but it was still the same frustration for me. Like, I remember, I forget what the question was, but the one of the hosts asked, it was a part of the question had like 4 bullets. Mm-hmm. And she was like, you know, I'm going to answer all of it. She kind of answered the first, or like she responded to the first bullet. And then she went right back to, you know, the campaign rhetoric. It's like a bad car salesman on both sides. Like, answer what you're being asked. Speak to what you're being asked. It is so frustrating for me listening to adults, like, have a conversation and not answer the questions. That was so frustrating for me. Like, it's
eye-opening to see, like, that's how politicians act.
Yeah.
Like, that's their job, is to circumvent around a question. Yes. Like, just go around it. Like, nobody answered a direct question. Like, you would ask him something about, okay, what's up with the economy? And he would go, or you would ask him about the border, and he would go off onto the economy. And it's like, nobody even asked you about the economy. We asking about the border. And let's just put it all on the table. There is a border crisis. The Democrats are doing something with the border by letting in immigrants, giving them IDs, giving them debit cards, giving them jobs, and giving them money just so they can vote blue. They're changing swing states to blue states. That's exactly what they're doing. And that's what they want to do. I don't know if it's going to work, but that's the whole the idea behind letting in 12 million immigrants.
Yeah, that's what they want to do, but I work heavily with this population on a smaller scale, of course, not across the country, but in the state that I work in. And please believe me, when people come into the country, it's almost like that gratitude, but still that fear of, like, I want to go to work, I want to take care of my family, I want to live a good life, but I want to kind of stay. They're not lining up to want to be part of the process, like, to be that involved and to be that on record. Like, yeah, they're on record because they're given ID and that sort of thing, but it's almost like, all right, thank you, and now I'm gonna fade to black and do my thing. I'm just happy to be here. So that's their goal, but I don't think it's going to come to fruition in at the magnitude that they envision it to, because they want to stay off the radar.
I think I hear you and I receive that. I think it's the government and they can go deeper than that. Who knows if the phones they're giving these people are fucking tapped and they already can track people. They listen to people on phones. Though it's not, I don't think it's just my opinion. I don't think it's that easy for them to get in touch with these people again, even if they want to stay under the radar. So I receive that it's a lot of people that's going to be like, fall back because I don't want no police contact. I know what that's like, or I don't want no government contact. But I think the setup that they like, again, they're changing all the swing states into blue, Arizona and shit like that. Like, that's where these people are. It's a group of them in New Jersey and New York and all that. But most of them are in middle America. And those are the states that they're trying to change. And I don't know, 12 million people is a lot.
Yeah, I just don't think 12 million people is going to manifest to 12 million votes. I think the vote count that they are thinking, if that is the ploy behind it.
If 12 million can substantiate the 5 or 6, do you think that could swing a state which may win a presidency?
Yeah,
it don't have to be 12. It's like, okay, we just put a lot of fish in the water. And if we can get back 4 or 5 million or 6 million of these votes out of the 12 million people, then okay. And then after this election, he gets his 4 years, we put some type of plan in with ICE. Like, it's the government we're talking about.
Yeah, I just, when again, I don't think that these people are running to stand in line at the voting booths. I don't think that's, like, that isn't on their list of things to do while they're here. It's weird because I read something the other day, and it was when, I want to say it may have been when Kamala first, it wasn't about her current campaign for presidency, but it talked about her being, and it clearly labeled the first Asian American vice president. And it was like, that was the rhetoric then. And it saddens me that now everything is like the first black, the first black, the first black, the first black, the first black. When she is black as well as Asian. But again, Asian, and then I get it. She was raised with her mom, right? Most people gravitate towards the whatever culture their mom is. Like when you have like children who are raised with one parent rather than the other, that makes sense. But I don't like the pandering to the black community. I don't like the fact that people have this position that we're voting for her simply because she is black. That ain't always good enough. You know how many people who are black have not done the right things for black people, and I don't look to any president to say, like, when people ask that question, what do you want to do for black people? What do you want to do for society as a whole? Because like, there's things that need to be fixed as a whole, but I don't, that whole, just because she's black, you gotta give me more than that, sis. Like, I don't want Trump to be president. So like, but I feel like the position that Kamala's campaign is taking is, we're not Trump. That's like, okay, you got Purdue chicken and you got Tyson chicken.
It's the devil,
And it's like you asking Purdue, why should I buy your chicken instead of Tyson chicken? And they just like, because we better than Tyson.
Yeah.
Okay, but why? Like, tell me about, like, what? Because Tyson ain't no good. You had that before. You know it ain't good, and we better than that. But tell me about you. Like, okay, if you was running against somebody else, like, tell me about you. And I know some people could say, oh, well, if you Google, you'll find her policies and what she stands for and what she's running on and what she plans to do. But my thought is, sometimes you got to look at what your competitor is doing and like, are we going to piggyback? Like, in my field of work, we call it competitive intelligence, to see what the other team is doing, and maybe we can leverage that. If you look on Trump's website, there is the Agenda 45, which lists the 45 things that are part of his campaign, his policies that he's standing on. I think it's 18 pages. Whether you agree or disagree, it's all written out there for you to read. Some things sound a little wonky, but it's there. It's available. Why not have something instead of for us to have to read this and watch this video and piece together this information? And
what's our website about donations and stuff like that?
It includes like a bio, donations, like but it doesn't include what are you what are you standing on? What do you stand? And I don't want to keep hearing about reproductive rights. Because the thing for me, and I mean, I've been very clear about my stance on abortion, although I do agree, and you know, people have said before, like, changing your mind isn't hypocrisy, it's growth. And I don't know where I stand with Jesus with this, but I do feel like there needs to be some provision allowed for victims of rape or incest. Other than that, I don't believe abortion should be legal, or in the case where the mother may die. I don't believe abortion should be legal. But when they keep standing on this, oh, we're restoring reproductive rights. So how are you moving the country forward? Because you're just restoring, so you're going back to what it was. Okay, great for those that want that. What's next, sis? Like, what's next? What else are you doing? And I mean, it's just. And I've heard snippets, so I don't want to act like she hasn't said anything. But I just wish that it was something more comprehensive, like what he did or his campaign. I don't want to say he did. Like that to me was a great idea. And it's like, damn, I wish I could go there and kind of read and kind of have that information to look to. That was a great idea, but you know, we stuck with what we stuck with, and it's almost like not him, so it got to be her. And I don't ever want to say anything negative because I do kind of feel like that. Like, you know, don't air your dirty. Not that it's dirty laundry about her. I don't want to speak negatively towards her.
No,
I just want her to give me more.
Yeah,
give me more. Make me feel good about this vote I'm about to give you. I feel scared.
Everybody,
because I feel like, what are you not telling us?
And that's the thing. You like you said, you're upset about the just because she's black and not Trump. And it's like the hypnosis that black people are under and not even asking the questions that you're asking of like, what's the policy? Why isn't there anything on your website? Why does Trump lay out his shit and you don't? Like, why do we got to go to Wikipedia to find your stuff? Why is all this stuff so ambiguous? And all you're running on is not Trump. Like, okay, there's a lot of people that don't want Trump to be the president, but why do we want you to be the president? Like, and how do you be you're voted the worst vice president in the last 4 years? Nobody knew or heard from you at all, and you were voted the worst vice president in U.S. history, and all of a sudden now you're the best candidate for president? Like, I don't get that. I just don't understand that, and I feel the same way that you do. Like, people are under a hypnosis because it's like, okay, she's black, she's a woman, that's going to be history. But nobody's asking those questions of what is your policy, what are you doing, how's the country going to get how are we going to move forward, how's the people on the ground, the day-to-day people going to benefit from voting from you? Or are we just going to get the last 4 years that we got of Biden, where everything went up, inflation, things were all fucked up? And yeah, everybody was calm, there was no racist shit going on like Trump probably would have had, but it's a lot of people out here, they're struggling. They're struggling.
I do want to, and this must have been updated, I'll say maybe within the last 5 days or so, because this was not there before. So there has been some information added to the website when you go and under our vision. So maybe her campaign has heard the whispers, which is great. Because now it gives us something to read, something to review, something to kind of say, okay, we kind of know where she stands.
That's awesome.
On some things. So that's great. I'll give credit where it's due.
I actually feel heard.
Yeah.
It
wasn't there before. So
like,
maybe
you
the
wanted
powers
something
that
and you
be,
got it.
Yeah, maybe the powers that be, and I'm sure they see social media, because I've seen this conversation ongoing on social media. So maybe the powers that be have said, knocked on the campaign manager's door and said, look, we need to step this up. We need to give the people something. So shout out to y'all for that.
Yeah, shouts out to y'all for that. 3 grams. What we got? What we want to talk about?
Well, can I don't know what your grams are, but I have a gram. Do you believe in hypnosis? You kind of mentioned that word, and do you believe in that?
Yeah.
You believe you? Okay.
You could
So
be hypnotized.
there was a lawyer
Mm-hmm.
who was arrested. He was a divorce lawyer, and these women were coming to him, and he had been hypnotizing them and performing like sexual acts and stuff on them.
Wow.
And one of the ladies, triggered. She felt like her clothes was disheveled, and so she kind of like reported to the police, and they set up a sting so you could see him, like it was like a camera. I don't know where they had it hidden, but this lady was sitting in a chair, and he was telling her, at the sound of my voice, you will feel pleasure. Anytime I touch you, your body will not be able to resist, and you will have immense pleasure. But he had did this. I want to say, I don't know why the number 6 and 11 is standing out. So I'm just going to say between 6 to 11 women, he had did this.
That's crazy.
Would you allow yourself to be hypnotized for any reason?
No, because they can make you do shit. Like, I feel
like what if I was in the room watching to make sure you were safe? But
I don't know how to explain it, but I feel like it's halfway spiritual. So I wouldn't fuck with it at all. And I don't know how to explain like what I'm saying because I don't know how to tie the spiritual, but it feels to me
that
like
makes sense.
It's a weensy bit. It's spiritual.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I'm not fucking with it. You're not going in my brain like that, and me feeling comfortable that you're fully out of it when I leave.
Yeah.
No, not doing that.
You could like say a word at you, like wherever you are, and I don't even know. And like I know some people have used hypnosis to stop smoking, and it's been successful. But
I guess you're desperate at that point. I'm not desperate to stop smoking. I don't smoke cigarettes.
Yeah,
so
right, right.
Really
Yeah, I would not. I don't. I want to say I don't. It's one of them things. It's like you don't believe it until you see it.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think it's real. But yeah, I wouldn't mess with it.
Yeah,
I wouldn't mess with it.
Did you see the people that rented the Airbnb and the owner was standing behind the false wall? And that makes me think like I don't ever. And I was thinking about like just switching it up and renting an Airbnb to have more space and shit. But I don't want like to go into an Airbnb and have to turn over every picture, everything, because this might have a tiny camera in it, or looking vents, and
we done
the fucking toilet paper holder might have a camera in it, like the shower head. Like none of, I'm not doing none of that. And a false wall where a motherfucker gonna say, well, in the report, it said you get this part of the house. Yeah. I need to take a shower. Like, I need to use the bathroom.
So you been, and then he was like, he would take his dishes.
That motherfucker got no pants on.
Creeping around while
he
he
got no
sleep.
Pants on.
His pants was across his arm.
And he had no goddamn pants on. I need to use the bathroom.
But you know what's crazy? I read somebody said before, like, and this kind of made me feel seen. Like, damn, like they pulled their ticket. It said, what in the world convinced people that when going on vacation, you want to get a house where you have to cook and wash dishes while on vacation? Yeah. And it was like, we did that for so many years. Well, no, we did go some places, like when we were in Topsail, where the Airbnbs were kind of like the only, it was the only option that was for us because they were amazing beach houses.
And Topsail is different. And like the whole Outer Banks is different because there's not a lot of big hotels.
Well, that's what I'm saying. But they are still rentals. It's not a quote unquote an Airbnb, but it still doesn't mean it's somebody's personal house that's watching us through the smoke detector.
No, I agree with you. I'm agreeing with you. It is an Airbnb. So I'm just saying that's the only thing you have to the only option you had down there. It wasn't no tall fucking Hyatts or no shit like that.
But it makes me think, I never want to go to no place like that again where that's the only option.
My man came from behind the bookcase and was like, I need to use the bathroom with no pants on. We packing our shit now and leaving here. Yeah. Like you behind the wall.
You could have been standing over us. You know my fear of like somebody watching me while we sleep.
Babe, you would have woke me up and said, this fucking white man is standing over us. Like I'd have beat the shit out that white man. We done went to jail. Like, we done went to jail. I got to go to the bathroom?
That's crazy.
So you in there
He was like, look,
shit.
I need to take a shower. Like, is it okay right now? He was like, I've
been in here trapped. I
I need to go take a shower. He was like, you been here all the time? I guess maybe the guy had been going in and out, and maybe he was quiet that morning, so the dude thought he could, like, creep out. That's crazy.
That's insane.
Yeah,
insane.
That's crazy.
I sent you something on Instagram. Rudest cities and residents in America.
Yeah, that's it's crazy because
number 1 was Miami. Who was number 2?
Philadelphia.
Of course.
That's so disgusting.
Some rude motherfuckers.
But you know, it was surprising.
What's Miami's score?
9.88 out of 10, and Philadelphia was 9.12. What was number 3 was Tampa, so 2 places in Florida. But what was surprising was some of the more like country southern towns that you wouldn't think that, like Charlotte was number 10, and you think like
Charlotte's kind of a big city.
Yeah, it's big, but it's down south. But then you have Raleigh, North Carolina, another big city, which is number 9 as far as cities with the least rude residents.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah. But number 4 was another one, Louisville, Kentucky. Now, Louisville, like,
I can kind of see how they can be rude if you're not from Louisville.
I would feel like more racist than rude,
That's rude.
And I'm sorry to say that, but
Racist is rude.
Racist
is rude.
Definitely. But who's doing this list though?
Yeah.
To determine
Does
that.
it say?
This was surprising. New York City is not. It wasn't even on a top 10. It just says a study.
Okay.
A new survey. Yeah, it doesn't say who. Oh, according to the New York Post.
Oh, so the Post did it.
Yeah. So. Number 4 was Louisville was number 4. Number 5 came in at Oakland, California. That I'm not surprised about. Number 6 came in Boston. I'm not surprised
I'm
by
not
Boston.
surprised by Boston. They pissed off at eggs. Like early in the morning, they pissed off.
Number 7 was Memphis. Another one that, like, I've heard great things about Memphis.
I don't know.
Memphis
I heard
and Louisville.
Memphis was poor. Is what I always heard about Memphis. I've never heard anything. I heard they got good food, and I heard that they're poor.
And good music.
Yeah. Well, the music I heard, that's kind of like a Nashville thing. But,
Nashville.
Yeah,
okay, but I'm thinking
Memphis,
Tennessee,
I heard got
Kentucky,
good food, and they have a lot of poor places.
Yeah. Number 8, Las Vegas. I'm not surprised by that. The residents are probably when you have places like that has high tourism, I think they get sick of the people.
Yeah.
So that I'm not surprised
the people
about.
born and raised in Vegas. Yeah.
Yeah. And then number 9 was Long Beach, California. Not surprised by that. And then number 10 was Charlotte.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The nicest, or no, not nicest, but the least rude residents, number 1, Omaha, Nebraska. Not surprised. Like, it's Omaha. Like,
it's nice.
Yeah. Minneapolis, Minnesota was number 2.
Prince lived there. It's nice.
Number 3 was San Diego.
It's nice. It's sunny fucking all day. It rains 10 times a year.
Number 4, Columbus, Ohio.
Yeah, Columbus. So that's where Dave Chappelle from. So,
okay,
yeah,
so they're least rude. Number 5, Kansas City, Missouri.
Kansas City got that barbecue. They down there eating it up.
So that's why they
not
rude.
They not rude.
Number 7, Indianapolis, Indiana.
Indianapolis. That's where Larry Bird from. So yeah, it could be a bit racist, but yeah, they're nice.
Number 8, San Jose, California.
Okay.
And number 10, OKC.
OKC, yeah, you're locked in land.
So you got
OKC's landlocked.
Nebraska, and you got Oklahoma, like both in the same region. So yeah, not surprised. But I don't know why Tennessee and Kentucky surprised me, and North Carolina surprised me.
Miami is like, okay, that's the rudest though. Like,
but again, you think Miami, Vegas, Boston, those high tourist places. I'm not surprised by that.
People in Miami are like, fuck
Philadelphia,
y'all.
I'm definitely not surprised.
We born and raised there, so we know. Yeah, it can get a bit rude.
Yeah.
That's a wrap. Act 2 the podcast 193 coming to a close. Instagrammers, YouTubers, TikTokers, Facebookers, Apple Podcasters, Spotifyers, iHeartRadioers, Amazon Musicers, Podcast Indexers, Podchaser us, Google Podcasters, Player FM us. We're up there. Type us in. Talk to us. Comment, like, share, subscribe. All of that good stuff. You got something for them?
Give like God has given you.
Get what God has given you.
Like God has given you.
Give like God has given you. Cool. If you fuck with us, you fuck with us. If you don't, you should. Peace.
Babe, look at my fingers.